Let us understand splitting of d orbitals in octahedral complexes. Octahedral complexes means how many ligands are there? What is the coordination number of central metal ion? 6. How the ligands are going to approach? We are assuming ligands are approaching along axis. What's our imagination? X-axis to our left, right. Towards you and towards me, y-axis. Up and down is a z-axis. So ligands are approaching along axis. Metal ion is at center. Which orbitals are there on metal ion? 5 orbitals are there. 5 d orbitals are there. Which are those? dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square, dz square. Let us understand their nature. dxy orbital, lobes are between x and y axis. dyz orbital, lobes are between y and z axis. dxz orbital, lobes are between x and z axis. So these orbitals are axial or non-axial? Of course non-axial. How many these orbitals are there? 3. Keep this number in mind. Now, other two orbitals, dx square minus y square, lobes are along x and y axis. Last, dz square orbital, lobes are along z axis. And one ring is there, donut shape is there. I said it's like medulla. And that ring is in which plane? XY plane. So x and y axis components are there. I can divide these 5 orbitals in two parts. 3 are non-axial and 2 are axial. So now 2 teams are there out of the 5. One team has 3 players, dxy, dyz, dxz. Other team has 2 players, dx square minus y square and dz square. As ligands approaches along axis, then they will strongly interact, they will strongly repel. Which orbitals? Axial orbitals. Which are axial orbitals? dx square minus y square and dz square. Because of repulsion, what will happen? Energy will increase or decrease? Energy will increase more. Here we are talking about repulsion. So relative to energy of free metal ion, d orbitals of free metal ion, energies of these orbitals, whichever I am talking about, the splitted orbitals, will be always higher because of repulsion. But among repulsion I am talking about where is more repulsion and relatively less repulsion, because to have relativity we are with hypothetical consideration. What are we considering? We are considering spherically symmetrical hypothetical field around metal ion. Spherical symmetrical negative ligand field remains, due to which what happens? Degeneracy of those all 5 d orbitals will be retained, will be preserved, will be kept as it is, will be undisturbed. But spherically symmetric field is hypothetical. It is not the reality. Reality is octahedral. Now in our consideration, octahedral means 6 ligands are there. 6 ligands are approaching along the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis means along axis. So if they are approaching along axis, then few orbitals will experience more repulsion, relatively less repulsion other orbitals will experience. But anyhow, we want equilibrium, we want center of gravity, we want barycenter energy, we want equilibrium energy. Then how can it be possible? If one set increases, other set has to decrease. Means it is if how while doing a drill as such, it looks good. By the way, in order to have proper balance as such, when we stretch the one hand, by the same time the other hand goes back. It's a way of balancing. Just to observe sports player, there also you will find the balancing out. Equilibrium is a very important in our life also, in behaviorology also, and in chemistry also. To maintain that equilibrium, energy of other set will decrease. What is other set? dxy, dyz, dxz. Let me label those sets now. 2 orbitals, dx square minus y square and dz square. These 2 orbitals means a doublet. In group theory, the doublet is represented by symbol small e. And 3 orbitals, dxy, dyj, dxz, it is a triplet. So triplet is to represent by symbol small t. These are axial orbitals. So only simply we are representing as E or we are representing as 1. These are non-axial orbitals. Who? dxy, dyj and dxz. For that we are using number 2. So T2. 2 means non-axial. Then whatever the geometry we are considering, it is octahedral. What do you think? Octahedral geometry has center of inversion? Yes, center of inversion remains. And center of inversion we represent as the term small g. Gerade. Geradness means existence of center of inversion. It is there for the complex. So let it be the T2 orbital or E orbital. Let it be the triplet set. Let it be doublet set. We have to represent it. So representation is T2G and EG. Now again come to the energy level. Since EG orbitals are axial, they will experience more interaction, more repulsion. So their energy will decrease. And T2G orbitals relatively experience less repulsion. Therefore, their energy will decrease. Now we have to answer how much increase and how much decrease. Let me consider this gap between T2G, that's the lowest splitted orbital, and EG, highest splitted orbital, is delta O. If that complete gap is delta O, how much distance, how much lowering of energy is there for T2G and how much increase in energy is there for EG? So decrease in energy, so minus sign will be there for energy, and here relatively plus sign because equilibrium we are considering as 0 and complete gap is delta O. How to find that? I give hint to you. Let us consider here 3 orbitals, means 3 kids are there. All are of the same age, same weight they do have. And upside 2 kids are there. They also are of the same age, same weight is there. Means it is like a seesaw in the garden. One side 2 boys are there of the same weight. Other side 3 boys are there of the same weight. Time being distance between their sitting arrangement do not count. They are sitting at one place. So one side 3 are there. Other side 2 are there. What do you think? From central position, from equilibrium position, now we can say barycenter or we can say center of gravity, central aspect, or from fulcrum, 2 boys and 3 boys. Who should be near to the fulcrum? Who should be near to the center? These 2 boys or 3 boys, so that there should be equilibrium, so that seesaw will be horizontal, parallel to the ground. Yes, what do you think? These 3 should be near. Yes, 3 should be near and 2 should be away. Means relatively I am talking about. How much near they should be or how much away these 2 boys should be, that we have to find out. Total 5 kids are there. So every kid has a weightage, say consider out of 1 will be 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. So total 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 here, 0.6 will be there. Here weightage will be what? 0.4. Weightage is weightage I am talking about, weight point of view. So weight is less, therefore distance is more. Here weight is more, so distance should be less. Total distance is 1. Total multiplication should be same. Let me consider this distance as x. So 0.6 into x. Here 0.4 into y. Both should be equal. When is possible? When this distance becomes, distance of these 3 boys is 0.4 of complete distance, 0.4 delta O, and this distance equal to weight of others, 0.6, and total distance delta O, 0.6 delta O, 0.4 and 0.6, if you sum up, answer is 1, that is delta O. Means what I wanted to say, those 3 boys will be separated by distance 0.4 delta O, means 0.4 unit, and these 2 will be separated by 0.6. So in splitting diagram, where 2 boys are there, where 2 orbitals are there, EG set is there, that will increase by amount 0.6 delta O, and where 3 boys are there, 3 orbitals are there, it will decrease by amount 0.4 delta O. Total gap is delta O. This is the understanding of splitting diagram of octahedral complex. Other way, we consider this complete gap as 10 dq. dq is a parameter or unit for measurement of the energy. Complete gap is 10 dq. Then the gap of barycenter and highest speed orbital will be 6 dq. The lowest orbital and the barycenter will be 4 dq. So what is the energy I can consider? Zero point 0.4 delta O or minus 4 dq. Energy of EG plus zero point 0.6 delta O or plus 6 dq. Total gap delta O or 10 dq. It is about the splitting diagram. Now understand this energy. What is in true sense? We consider free metal ion. No any kind of interaction. All d orbitals will be of same energy level. 5 d orbitals are there. Then hypothetical consideration. Hypothetical spherical field we are considering. So energy levels of all 5 d orbitals will increase because of repulsion. But it is not the reality. Reality is octahedral. Therefore, splitting diagram we are finding. So whatever the splitted orbitals are there, they should be of higher in energy than free metal ion orbitals. That's the crystal field theory basis. You can prepare description with the help of these 5 points. First point is a basis of CFT, which involves metal ion as a positively charged and ligand we consider as a negative point charges, and they impart a negative field on the d orbitals, electrons present in d orbitals of the metal ion, and spherically symmetric hypothetical field and how the energy changes occurs. That's a general idea as a basis of CFT you need to explain. Second point is the shapes of d orbitals, because splitting depends upon orientation of these d orbitals, directions of the lobes of d orbitals, and ligand approach. So if shapes are clear, then only you can describe the splitting. And third point, how exactly is a ligand up with relation to the shapes of d orbitals, that we need to describe with the help of diagram. The fourth point, in the real sense, how splitting occurs, the splitting gap, the labeling of energy terms, labeling of those orbitals, spherically symmetrical hypothetical field, energy of the free metal ion, complete splitting diagram with labeling. Fifth point, explanation you can give, comment you can give about the splitting, that's a splitting parameter. Here I like to discuss from second point. It's a representation of all 5d orbitals. First one, d z square orbital, where lobes are along z axis and donut shape of ring is there in xy plane. Second is dx square minus y square orbital, where lobes are perfectly along x and y axes. So these two orbitals, dz square and dx square minus y square, are axial orbitals. It is a doublet. Therefore, it is represented by symbol small e. Because of center of symmetry, we can represent them as Eg. If a resultant complex has the center of inversion, then we will represent by Eg. Otherwise, simply we will say as E. Especially for tetrahedral complexes, we represent it by E, and for octahedral, we represent it by Eg. Third orbital is dyz, where lobes are in between y and z axes, perfectly in between y and z axes. Fourth one, dxz orbital, where lobes are between x and z orbitals. And last one, dxy orbital. Here also lobes are between x and y. Only from this representation you will understand all these three comes in one category. Lobes are not along axis. Those are represented by the symbol T2, T for triplet, 2 for non-axiality, and G for gyroidness. In case if complex has that centrosymmetric arrangement, then we will use the term T2G. So this diagram describes two sets of orbitals at metal ion, Eg and T2G. Here is a diagram representing approach of 6 ligands and the shapes or orientations of orbitals present at central metal ion. How cluster of orbitals is there. Interestingly, see there. Ligands are approaching along axes. 6 directions are there. Ligands are represented by black ball. And the orbitals which are axial, those are pointing towards center of the face of the cube, are represented by gray color. And the orbitals which are non-axial means T2G sets, their lobes are represented by a white color. If you observe them neatly, those are pointing towards center of each edge of a cube. T2G set encompasses three orbitals dxy, dyz and dxz. EG set encompasses two orbitals which are shown by gray color or are shaded. Those orbitals are dz square and dx square minus y square. And a common conclusion for octahedral complexes, EG orbitals are directly facing towards the ligand, therefore they experience more repulsion. Therefore, relatively their energy should rise is our expectation. Now let us see actually how splitting is there in the d orbitals in octahedral field. This diagram is very important. Actually, it is the essence of our discussion. See, left side one energy arrow is represented. As we go high, as we go up, energy of the respective orbital or orbitals will increase. The left side, free metal ion. How many orbitals are there? 5. Which are those? dxy, dyj, dxj, dz square and dx square minus y square. And crystal field theory assumes hypothetical, spherical, symmetric field. In presence of that spherically symmetric hypothetical field, that's a ligand field. See upside, a diagram is shown there. Metal ion is at center and negative spherical field is represented. So each orbital will experience same kind of repulsion. There is a no favorism, there is a no victimization. All orbitals will raise in equal amount of energy. So elevation of energy of all 5 orbitals is represented. And later on, the reality what it is represented by upper right diagram where ligands are approaching along axis. Negative sign is there for the ligand approach and metal ion is with positive charge. And field here we are considering is octahedral. That results change in the energy levels of the orbitals. Energy levels of sets of orbitals. Two sets are there. One is T2G, other is EG. See below barycenter by distance zero point 0.4 delta O for octahedral. The dxy, dyj, dxj, that triplet is there represented by T2G. And upside the doublet is there dz square and dx square minus y square orbital. It is represented by Eg and is elevated by amount zero point 0.6 delta O. Other way, it can be said as 6 dq increase of Eg orbitals and 4 dq is a decrease of T2G orbitals. If we consider that complete energy gap as a 10 dq, what is that complete energy gap? The energy gap between T2G, that's the lowest splitted orbital, and highest split orbital Eg is called crystal splitting parameter. And that crystal splitting parameter is represented by symbol delta O in case of octahedral field or 10 dq. And at center there is a barycenter. One line is there. A faint line is there. Now energy C, energy of T2G set is minus zero point 0.4 delta O or minus 4 dq with respect to barycenter, with respect to equilibrium energy level. Energy for EG set is plus zero point 0.6 delta O or plus 6 dq. Now important point. Pay attention towards energy level of free metal ion d orbitals. Compare their energy with metal ion d orbitals in spherically symmetrical field. What are you finding? There is a rise in energy. What does it indicate? There is a repulsion between metal ion d orbitals and negative spherical field. What is the situation in octahedral? In octahedral field, also there is a rise in energy of any orbital with respect to energy of free metal ion d orbital. What does it mean? Each orbital experiences repulsion. That I was saying in the previous video. Energy of splitted orbitals should be higher than the energy of free metal ion d orbitals. Now the concept might be very clear to you. While drawing, take care that the energy of splitted orbitals will be higher than the energy of free metal ion. One important correction I suggest here, Eg orbital energy level should be higher in rise compared to decrease in energy level of T2G orbital, because zero point 0.4 delta is a decrease of T2G and zero point 0.6 delta is an increase of Eg orbital. 0.6 higher than zero point 0.4. So you should represent the diagram in such a way that Eg orbital will be higher in energy compared to the shown here. I hope you are getting this point. We studied the splitting and we found the crystal field splitting parameter delta O or 10 dq. I want from you some descriptive answer. You have to define that delta O or 10 dq. What is that actually? It's the energy gap between splitted orbitals. Lowest splitted orbital, that's a T2G, and highest split orbital, that is EG. Just you define there in the comment box. Is the splitting diagram for the octahedral complexes clear? If the ligands are stronger, more splitting will be there. If ligands are weak, then less splitting will be there. When we will study electronic configuration, at that time this concept will be the more clear. So let us discuss next time other geometry for complexes and its splitting. Let us know now the splitting in tetrahedral complexes. Tetrahedral complexes means 4 ligands will be there. I want to imagine it is in the cubic form. How many corners do cube remain with? 8 corners. I want out of those 8 only 4. How can I choose? Consider upper square of the cube. Means how many corners? 4 corners. And floor square, bottom square has 4 corners. Just you have to imagine. By the way, 4 corners are there which are facing towards you. Which are towards you. 4 are towards me. 4 are towards your left side. 4 are towards your right side. These are the 2 walls facing each other. Upper and down, these 2 walls opposite each other, and wall towards you and wall towards me. Total 3 pairs of walls are there. Total 6 faces are there. 6 faces, 8 corners. That's the consideration of cube. I repeat, 2 are upside and 2 are downside from your point of view, towards your side. 2 are towards me, upside, and 2 are downside towards me. So likewise, 8 total corners are there, and those 8 corners I have to occupy by ligands. How I am selecting the ligands? Let us consider. To your left upside, there is one ligand. Alternate corners I have to choose. So if I change the place and if I come to the right side, this corner, no ligand will be there. Come down, yes, there will be ligand. So along this diagonal of a cube face, which is towards you, there are ligands. So 2 ligands are here in this way. They are along left right diagonal of the face which is towards you. Here there is a ligand. Now I am approaching towards me. Towards my side, whichever the adjacent point is there ligand will not be there, because alternate corners we have to occupy now. I am coming down now. Towards my right bottom, there is ligand now. Adjacent, no. Upside position, yes. So what is the position of diagonal? This diagonal. From left to right, left top to right bottom, from my point of view, there will be ligands. Also from your point of view, from left top to right bottom, ligands are there. So it looks as like, from your point of view observe, arrangement you will feel as if like, and at center there is a metal ion. Now I have to consider orbitals. Axial orbitals. This is our x-axis passing through center of the cube. Y-axis passing through center of the cube. Z-axis passing through center of the cube. Axial orbitals dx square minus y square and dz square. Those orbitals will face to the center of the face of the cube. Means dx square minus y square orbital, the lobe along y-axis will face to center of the face. The face which is there towards it will be at the center of that face. Similarly, face which is approaching towards me, center of the face approaching towards right side, left side, up side, down side. So z orbital is there from the center of the upper face to metal center of the down face. So likewise, axial orbitals are there. And how non-axial orbitals are there? Non-axial orbitals are then between axes. If I consider the y-axis and x-axis, consider now. Between these two, non-axial orbitals are there. So where are they facing? They are facing towards center of the edge. So center of the edge, non-axial orbitals are pointing. And center of the face, axial orbitals are pointing. Ligands are at alternate corners. What do you think? Which point will be near to the ligand? Center of the edge or center of the face? Ligands are at corner. Just think on that. Cube is there. Alternate corners, ligands are there. Center of the face, axial lobes, and center of the edge, non-axial lobes. Which points are near? Non-axial point is near. The center of the edge point is near to the ligand. More near the orbital is, more repulsion it will experience. So whose energy will increase? Non-axial orbital's energy will increase. How many non-axial orbitals are there? 3. Therefore, energy of T2G set will increase. Energy of EG set will decrease, and whatever the logic that I applied for octahedral complexes, energy of EG orbital was increased by 0.6 delta O. Energy of T2G orbital decreased by 0.4 delta O. Here reverse is going to occur. T2 orbitals are increasing and E orbitals are decreasing. So T2 orbitals will increase by amount 0.4. Now delta will not come. Delta T. Delta T is a splitting parameter for tetrahedral complexes. And EG orbitals will decrease by amount 0.6 delta T. From energy point of view, if I have to represent the energy of the E set, I can say here minus 0.6 delta T. Barycenter, energy 0. T2 orbital, energy will be plus 0.4 delta T. Total gap, delta T. Other way, if I measure in terms of 10 dq, then T2 set will increase by amount 4 dq and each set will decrease by amount 6 dq. Since no orbital is directly facing the ligands, the splitting parameter, splitting gap is less. Disparity, separation, difference in the interaction is less, and therefore tetrahedral complexes experience less kind of splitting. Quantity I tell to you, delta T is equal to 4 by 9 delta O. You can prepare description with the help of these 5 points. First point is a basis of CFT, which involves metal ion as a positively charged and ligand we consider as a negative point charges, and they impart a negative field on the d orbitals, electrons present in d orbitals of the metal ion, and spherically symmetric hypothetical field and how the energy changes occurs. That's a general idea as a basis of CFT you need to explain. Second point is the shapes of d orbitals, because splitting depends upon orientation of these d orbitals, directions of the lobes of d orbitals, and ligand approach. So if shapes are clear, then only you can describe the splitting. And third point, how exactly is a ligand up with relation to the shapes of d orbitals, that we need to describe with the help of diagram. The fourth point, in the real sense, how splitting occurs, the splitting gap, the labeling of energy terms, labeling of those orbitals, spherically symmetrical hypothetical field, energy of the free metal ion, complete splitting diagram with labeling. Fifth point, explanation you can give, comment you can give about the splitting, that's a splitting parameter. Here I like to discuss from Second point, it's a representation of all 5d orbitals. First one, d z square orbital, where lobes are along z axis and donut shape of ring is there in xy plane. Second is dx square minus y square orbital, where lobes are perfectly along x and y axes. So these two orbitals, dz square and dx square minus y square, are axial orbitals. It is a doublet. Therefore, it is represented by symbol small e. Because of center of symmetry, we can represent them as Eg. If a resultant complex has the center of inversion, then we will represent by Eg. Otherwise, simply we will say as E. Especially for tetrahedral complexes, we represent it by E, and for octahedral, we represent it by Eg. Third orbital is dyz, where lobes are in between y and z axes, perfectly in between y and z axes. Fourth one, dxz orbital, where lobes are between x and z orbitals. And last one, dxy orbital. Here also lobes are between x and y. Only from this representation you will understand all these three comes in one category. Lobes are not along axis. Those are represented by the symbol T2, T for triplet, 2 for non-axility, and G for gyroidness. In case if complex has that centrosymmetric arrangement, then we will use the term T2G. So this diagram describes two sets of orbitals at metal ion, Eg and T2G. Here is a diagrammatic representation of arrangement of ligands. Arrangement of orbitals means their orientations and the alignment of axes. In cubic way, we are explaining all the things. By black color, ligands are represented. We could able to see only three ligands because fourth ligand is at the behind face and its bottom is hidden in the orbitals. By white color, gaps are represented. Vacant sites are represented. Those are not ligands. And in case of orbitals, by gray color, the axial orbitals are represented. By white color, non-axial orbitals are there. Axial orbitals are pointing toward the center of each face, and non-axial orbitals are pointing at center of each edge of the cube. That's our understanding. What are you finding here? Which orbitals are near to the ligand? Right, the orbitals which are pointing toward center of the edge means non-axial orbitals are near to the ligand. So they will experience more repulsion compared to the orbitals which are pointing toward center of the face. Those are axial orbitals. See, it is a clearly observable. Center of the face is far away from the ligand rather than center of the edge. Therefore, T2G orbitals will experience more repulsion than EG. Let us see now the splitting diagram. Here is a representation of free metal ion d orbitals which are of low energy and splitted d orbitals in tetrahedral crystal field. All 5d orbitals in tetrahedral crystal field are of higher energy than free metal ion. It emphasizes there is a repulsion experienced by each and every orbital in tetrahedral field. Lowest orbitals are 2, dx square minus y square and dz square. It's a doublet E. And highest split orbitals are 3, dxy, dyj, dxz. Those are represented by T2. This will be more clear by this new diagram. Comparative splitting between tetrahedral crystal field and octahedral crystal field is represented here. The middle 5 d orbitals that you are finding, that is the energy level of d orbitals which are in spherically symmetrical hypothetical field. And left side compartment is called tetrahedral crystal field. There you are finding two orbitals, that's a doublet, dx square minus y square and dz square. They decreases in energy by how much amount? 0.6 delta T. That decrease should be more. And what is the label for that? E. While drawing diagram, be careful that decrease you have to show in more quantity compared to increase, because increase of those three orbitals dxy, dyj, dxz means T2 set is by 0.6 delta T. From this diagram, it is very clear that delta O is larger, or I can say delta T is smaller, and mathematically it can be represented as delta T is equal to 4 by 9 delta O. Is a rough approximation between the splitting parameters. Conclusion: tetrahedral splitting parameter is less compared to octahedral. Pay attention towards labeling. In octahedral crystal field, labeling of the respective orbitals was by G, T2G, EG, and in tetrahedral crystal field that G is not there because tetrahedral complexes are with no center of inversion, center of symmetry is not there, because of that G is absent. Here short answered question for your homework. We have found the crystal field splitting parameter for both fields, octahedral and tetrahedral. I want comparison among them. Related to octahedral crystal field, in tetrahedral crystal field, splitting parameter is smaller or larger. I mean delta T is smaller or larger with respect to delta O. Write your answer in comment box. Is the splitting for tetrahedral complex clear? Let us see the splitting diagram for other geometry, that's a square planar complexes, in next part. Let us understand now splitting in square planar complexes. Square planar complexes means ligands are in xy plane along z-axis, means upside or downside, no approach of ligand. So the orbitals which are along x-axis, y-axis, or have x and y component, they only will experience more repulsion. One by one if I talk, among these all 5 orbitals, which orbital will experience more repulsion? The dx square minus y square orbital, where lobes are along x and y axis, will experience a over maximum repulsion, and energy of the dx square minus y square orbital will increase. Then relatively, which other orbital where repulsion is there? That's a dxy orbital. Because dxy orbital is in xy plane, lobes are not directly facing but are making 45-degree angle to the approach of the ligand. So relatively, second orbital which has the more repulsion is dxy. So below dx square minus y square orbital, dxy orbital will be there. Now left 3 orbitals, but only 2 sets. One is dz square, alone can remain. Other dxz and dyz, both have the same kind of interaction. Answer for my question. Among these two, dz square and other set dxz and dyz, who will experience more repulsion? Right, dz square. Why? Because dz square orbital has that ring shape in xy plane, and because of that part of the dz square orbital, it will experience more repulsion compared to dxz and dyz. So now third orbital which has repulsion is dz square, and then last dxz and dyz, these 2 orbitals will be there which have least repulsion. Now if I have to arrange them properly, because I said equilibrium is important, maintaining barycenter the same is important, how can it be maintained? It is possible by increase in energy of dx square minus y square and dxy, and decrease in energy of dz square and dxzyz. Now how much increase, how much decrease? Let we compare it with respect to octahedral. Let we compare it with splitting parameter of octahedral. And that splitting parameter for octahedral, if I say delta O, then energy of ever highest orbital will be 1.23 delta O. Energy of second highest orbital dx orbital will be plus 0.23 delta O. Energy gap between that dx square minus y square and dxy is delta O. Means whatever the splitting parameter octahedral complexes produces is only produced by dx square minus y square and dxy. That's the axial and non-axial interaction difference. Same thing is in octahedral. Therefore, this gap is equal to delta O. Now come to the other two sets. dz square orbital has energy minus 0.43 delta O, and lowest set dxz and dyz energy will be minus 0.51 delta O. So in general sense, if you observe the energy gap between lowest splitted orbital and highest splitted orbital in square planar complex, that energy gap will be 1.23 plus 0.51, means it is almost 1.74. 1.74 times larger will be the splitting in square planar complexes compared to octahedral, because octahedral I am considering delta O as a splitting parameter. Here the splitting parameter will be 1.74 times. The stability may vary as per the electronic configuration that we are discussing. So how can we define the splitting parameter? Splitting parameter is the energy gap between the lowest split orbital and highest splitted orbital. Three geometries we have discussed: octahedral, tetrahedral and square planar. If I consider delta O is a splitting parameter for octahedral, delta T splitting parameter for tetrahedral, and delta SP splitting parameter for square planar, then who is largest? Right, delta SP is largest, then delta O, then delta T. What is the relationship between delta O and delta T, or delta T and delta O? Delta T is equal to 4 by 9 delta O, magnitude point of view, and delta SP is equal to 1.74 delta O. In case of octahedral, lowest splitted T2G orbital and highest split EG orbital, that is our splitting parameter delta O. In case of tetrahedral, lowest splitted E orbital and highest splitted T2 orbital. Here G we are not using because tetrahedral geometry has no center of symmetry. Therefore, the G which we are using for the octahedral is now not used. In case of square planar, energy gap between lowest splitted dxz and dyz orbitals and highest splitted dx square minus y square, the gap is 1.74 delta O. Is a splitting in square planar complex clear? You can prepare description with the help of these 5 points. First point is a basis of CFT, which involves metal ion as a positively charged and ligand we consider as a negative point charges, and they impart a negative field on the d orbitals, electrons present in d orbitals of the metal ion, and spherically symmetric hypothetical field and how the energy changes occurs. That's a general idea as a basis of CFT you need to explain. Second point is the shapes of d orbitals, because splitting depends upon orientation of these d orbitals, directions of the lobes of d orbitals, and ligand approach. So if shapes are clear, then only you can describe the splitting. And third point, how exactly is a ligand up with relation to the shapes of d orbitals, that we need to describe with the help of diagram. The fourth point, in the real sense, how splitting occurs, the splitting gap, the labeling of energy terms, labeling of those orbitals, spherically symmetrical hypothetical field, energy of the free metal ion, complete splitting diagram with labeling. Fifth point, explanation you can give, comment you can give about the splitting, that's a splitting parameter. Here I like to discuss from second point. It's a representation of all 5d orbitals. First one, d z square orbital, where lobes are along z axis and donut shape of ring is there in xy plane. Second is dx square minus y square orbital, where lobes are perfectly along x and y axes. So these two orbitals, dz square and dx square minus y square, are axial orbitals. It is a doublet. Therefore, it is represented by symbol small e. Because of center of symmetry, we can represent them as Eg. If a resultant complex has the center of inversion, then we will represent by Eg. Otherwise, simply we will say as E. Especially for tetrahedral complexes, we represent it by E, and for octahedral, we represent it by Eg. Third orbital is dyz, where lobes are in between y and z axes. perfectly in between y and z axis. Fourth one, dxz orbital, where lobes are between x and z orbitals. And last one, dxy orbital. Here also lobes are between x and y. Only from this representation you will understand all these three comes in one category. Lobes are not along axis. Those are represented by the symbol T2, T for triplet, 2 for non-axility, and G for gyroidness. In case if complex has that centrosymmetric arrangement, then we will use the term T2G. So this diagram describes two sets of orbitals at metal ion, EG and T2G. This is a diagrammatic representation of square planar arrangement. At the center, metal ion is with charge N plus and ligands are represented by negative point charges. Ligands are approaching along x and y axis. So it's a bit natural. The orbitals which have lobes along x and y will experience largest repulsion. Which orbit it is? Yes, it's a dx square minus y square. And secondary, the orbital which is in xy plane but lobes are not directly towards x and y. Which orbital it is? dxy will experience secondary more repulsion. One more orbital is there as a dz square, though in name x and y is not there, but the dz square orbital has the donut shape in xy plane, and because of that it will experience the next third level of the repulsion. And last, dxz and dyz, they will experience the least repulsion. Accordingly, the two orbitals dx square minus y square and dxy will be above the barycenter level, and two sets of orbitals dz square and dxz dyz will be of lower energy than the barycenter. How exactly the splitting is there in square planar? Let us see by other diagram. For the sake of brevity, I am comparing splitting in square planar complexes with respect to octahedral complexes. In octahedral complexes, we represent it by delta O. The barycenter is represented by the brown yellow colored line. From the barycenter, it is very clear cut that in square planar complexes, two orbitals, usually dx square minus y square and dxy, they are of higher energy, and other two sets of orbitals dz square and dxz dyz are of lower energy. Increase in energy of dx square minus y square is 1.23 delta O, and increase in energy of dxy is 0.23 delta O. Just find difference that is equal to delta O. Therefore, I said during the discussion, energy gap between dx square minus y square and dxy in square planar complex, only the gap in the first two higher orbitals is itself equal to the delta O. It indicates how far splitting is there in the square planar complex. dz square orbital is decreasing in energy by 0.43 delta O, and the set of two orbitals dxz and dyz is decreasing in energy by 0.51 delta O. If you find the energy gap between the lowest splitted orbital, that's a dxz and dyz, and highest splitted orbital, that's a dx square minus y square, we will get answer 1.74 delta O. Means in square planar, approximately the splitting is so larger that it is almost double than that of the octahedral complexes. So you need to remember the splitting diagram of square planar complex with energy levels. What is the conclusion? Square planar complexes are the highest splitting parameter, then octahedral, and then tetrahedral complexes. Whatever the quantitative relationship I have shown, that's a rough calculation in order to make the sense of the crystal field splitting. We have discussed the splitting parameter in square planar complexes as well as octahedral. In case of octahedral geometry, the energy gap is due to axial and non-axial approach. So out of the various orbitals, two orbitals from the metal ion in square planar splitting is considered, which are axial and non-axial. Gap between them is equal to the delta O. Which two orbitals are those? Gap between them is equal to delta O. Write the names of only those two orbitals. The gap of them is equal to delta O.